spirit that's in you is to be innovative, to defy the odds, to go against the grain, to go against tradition, to do a new thing, to do a radical thing. Hey, Emily, it's a fabulous Friday and the day that the Lord has made. And I don't know about you, but I am rejoicing and glad in this day. We're on the move today, but I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to the Takeoff Prayer Call, a ministry of igniting the flame, and how deeply grateful and glad I am for each of you and your daily commitment to prayer and to seeking God, as I'm committed to bringing you this daily message, because I know that it matters how we start our day. And time spent with the Lord is never, ever wasted. It always sets the tone, the pace, the tempo for your day, whereby you can boldly declare, hey, this day was made for me and I was made for this day. Come on, can y'all make that daily confession? Y'all know we say it every day, but I want us to declare this day was made for me and I was made for this day. And that's why I've got to start it off the right way. And I'm glad that God has given to us igniting the flame, as the evangelistic ministry that's committed to bringing you this daily word wherever I am. I'm gonna try to get you this word. That's my commitment to you, because we are counting on this word. And I know I was trying to text out the link. I thought I had texted out the link, and I guess it didn't make it out. Give me just a second here, because now, my Central family, they ought to be connected to this anyway, but I thought that the message had gone out. Y'all give me just a second. I thought that the message had gone out. We send the message out each day to those that are connected. Everybody say I'm connected. Everybody say I'm glad to be connected. I don't need Pastor to send me a link to get on to the word. I'm connected to this thing. Everybody just say it. I'm connected. I'm connected. Now I'm on the road, and we send out a daily message saying, hey, jump on YouTube, um, and by this time you think that people would be connected. I need y'all to make sure that y'all are following us follow us here on Facebook, Igniting the Flame with Courtney Meadows, and let's see, subscribe on YouTube at Igniting the Flame. Make sure that y'all just sort of stay connected, even on the central platforms. Make sure that you stay connected, just in case you don't. I think we sometimes spoil people. I know I do. I have y'all spoiled, that y'all sent that you look for that link. But listen, I want everybody to be connected, and not just connected here on Facebook and YouTube, but let me give you this conference call number, because I think y'all need it. How many of you have the conference call number? Conference call number is 617 829 6887. 617-829-6887. Thank you, Stylist Stephanie. I wasn't coming at you. I was just saying, I want us to be able to be connected with this daily word. That's conference call, this number. And again, follow us here on Facebook, Igniting the Flame with Courtney Meadows. and subscribe on YouTube. Make sure that you have all of these platforms so that just in case you don't get the text message, you don't miss the word. Okay. And I'm so glad this morning for each of you that are sharing all of our birthdays. I understand it's Sister Vivian McClenny. Happy birthday to you. Praying for all of our sick and shut in. Thanking God for all of our birthdays and anniversaries. I may not see all of the comments because, again, I just pulled over to get you the word. I just pulled over to get us the word. And how many of you are grateful for this daily word each day? Let me tell y'all how amazing God is. God is. I pulled up to a Dunkin' Donuts. Now I've got to buy something from Dunkin' Donuts. I'm a Starbucks guy. How many of you are Starbucks? How many of you are Dunkin'? Come on, give me your favorite coffee donut shop. I'm not a Dunkin' guy. I am a Starbucks guy. Matter of fact, for those of you that sent me birthday gifts, some of you got me Starbucks cards, and I may need to use that so I don't have to spend any money today. But I gotta get something from Starbucks today. Here's why: because happy early birthday, Connie C. Reed. Because I'm not in Dunkin', I'm outside of Dunkin', but I'm connected. I'm using their connection. I'm able to use their internet even though I'm not in the actual building. Y'all, I thought, now that blessed me right before. Yeah, now y'all know we preachers, we turn it into a sermon. But do y'all know how powerful that is? That this conference call, that's the power of this conference call. This conference call and ministry is so powerful. This prayer ministry ain't in no building. That's why I always tell you that we are not a church, but we are connected. Everybody just put your city and state on here. Your church. Come on, put your city, your state, your church. Now, I have got to sow into what keeps me, what's got me live right now, although I'm not in the building. I haven't stepped foot in the coffee shop, in the donut shop, but I'm connected even out of the building. So that's the power of this ministry. I'm seeing Pittsburgh. I'm seeing Montgomery. I'm seeing Stockbridge. We are connected. That's the power of technology, that we are connected right now and we're not in a building. Okay, that's the blessing and beauty and power of prayer. And I thought about igniting the flame, and that's why I need, man. I see, man, Pastor LaFon Flood Francis. Man, this is my new Pittsburgh brother. Happy anniversary to you. Happy anniversary to you, brother. I see the amazing student pastor and member of the pastoral team at Grace Baptist, Pastor Charles Phillip. Man, but look at all of you, and we are connected. You better have a connection beyond the building in these times. And if you are in a building waiting for people to connect to you by coming to your building, your connection is whack. People ought to be able to come alive before they even come into your building. They ought to be able to come alive without coming into your building. If people got to come into your building to be renewed and refreshed and to be activated, your connection is whack. But Duncan says you can connect to us without even stepping foot into a building. There are people, and there are people at Central that wonder, well, why we go live? Why you talk so much about the virtual connection? Why do you go live on Central's page in addition to the other? Because I want people to know that when you connect with Igniting the Flame, you're connecting with Central, but that don't require that you come into the building. I want the connection out of the building to be so powerful that you'll come in. However, the connection will work before you even step into the building. And that's what Igniting the Flame is all about. I want to thank God that we're doing ministry as we navigate day 37 of this government shutdown. I want to thank God for those that are already in our kitchen. I want to thank God for all that are in the kitchen right now. And Sister Betty and Brother Will and Sister Dot and Mama Pearl and Sister Mary Thornton and so many others that, and I'm just calling off the top of my head. I'm gonna get in trouble because I missed somebody's name. But everybody that works in that kitchen, we even got some new members that are coming in, and I want to thank God. Every day we're serving a fresh meal from the kitchen. And if you're on the hill, if you're in the hill, or if you say on the hill, or if you're in the Pittsburgh area from 10:30 to 11:30 Eastern time, we're serving the first I think it's 115 hot meals. They've amped it up. I told them to go to 100, and I asked them the other day, how many are y'all feeding? Well, today we fed about 115. See, we can't do it all. Sister Pat Millender, thank you. We can't do it all. However, we're doing our part. Everybody say, I got to do my part. I celebrate all the other churches that are doing their part. We can't do it all, but in this season, you got to do your part. Now, that ain't the word that I'm talking today, but I wanna take us to our daily passage, which is found in 2 Timothy. Can y'all go there with me really quick? 2 Timothy chapter number 4, verse 7 and 8 says these words: I've fought the good fight. I've finished the race. I've kept the faith. Finally, there is laid up for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will give to me on that day, and not to me only, but to all who have loved his appearing. Now, I really want to zoom in on verse number 7, which says these three phrases that I want you to hold on to today. You can put them in the comments. I fought the good fight. I finished the race. I have kept the faith. I fought the good fight. That's our daily passage. I have finished the race. I have I've kept the faith. I want to talk this morning about choosing resilience. Choosing resilience. I think in the last maybe 5-10 years, we will say, resilience has become a a hot word. There are certain buzzwords in certain communities, and they hit, they hit real prime. Like there was a day, if you can remember, if you've been around the church, like you wouldn't hear people say, uh, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I would say in the last 5-10 years that's become a buzzword. But in the last 5 to 10 years, many have been doing studies on resilience. Not that it hadn't been out there, not that it hadn't been, that there hadn't been a million studies. Dr. Sean did his PhD work and research around resilience, but and not that resilience hasn't been present for a long time, because we are a people of resilience. But there are moments and seasons where a word becomes widely attractive or used in certain communities. Not that that word hasn't been working in the community, but that we come into a greater awareness of its work through the coining of certain phrases or the usage of certain words. So within our community, there's been a lot of talk about resilience. How many of you have ever heard that word, resilience? Put a 2 in the chat. Pastor, I've heard of resilience. Put a 1 in the chat. No, Pastor, I ain't never heard of resilience. Come on, let me just see. I know conference call, y'all can't give me a number or so, but here in the chat, I've heard of that of this word, Pastor. You're right, resilience. Resilience. Come on, I see a couple of you, two. Yeah, I've heard of that word, resilience in youth, resilience in community, resilience in families, things that. What in the world is resilience? I'm trying to figure this thing out. What is resilience? Let's go to the dictionary real quick. An ability to recover from or adjust easily. An ability to recover from or adjust easily to misfortune or change. So when I talk about resilience, listen, since we got here to America, people of color have had to be resilient. You know, we've had to adjust to and easily recover from. To recover from and adjust easily, whether that's on slave ships, whether that's on plantations, whether that is Jim Crow South, whether the norms of the North, whether finding a safe haven in the Hill District, whether it's Tent City in Lowndes County, civil rights movement. We've cultivated resilience. I told you the other day, we talking about not having SNAP, but we had scraps before there was SNAP. And we were resilient in that we could take master scraps and feed our families and that thing. And in life, all of us face with misfortune and change. We will be faced with misfortune or change. You may be on this prayer call right now because you're trying to navigate some misfortune or change. 37-day of a government shutdown. It's amazing. They were doing some kind of press conference about health yesterday, and a guy literally just falls out. And we talking about the millions of Americans that are having health care, including my health care, 3 times higher. SNAP benefits cut. The courts, this is their second time saying you gotta fully fund it. And he's saying, I don't care what you say. Government workers being furloughed. I saw that in the comments. Life is just lifing. And it's not just misfortune, but adjusting to change. We are creatures of habit, and sometimes adjusting to changes, it makes us uncomfortable. There are changes in the workforce. They're changing things on your job. You're saying, Pastor, I thank God for my job, but so much is changing in this environment. Maybe you're dealing with a life change. And, we have had to deal with that. That's why I've been traveling so much. People talk about, you travel so much. Yeah, because I've had to adjust to change. And it is in that moment where you will allow the misfortune to rule you, or the change to change you, or to rule you, to bring out the worst in you, or to bring out the best in you. Misfortune and change can either bring out the best in you or bring out the worst of you. Choosing resilience says that I will not allow my misfortune or change to bring out the worst in me. In fact, I will allow it to cause the best in me to emerge. And therefore, I will adapt and I will overcome. Now, the reason why I know that while resilience is a new word to many of us, but it has always been present within our people and even before, because I now see what Paul says in 2 Timothy 4:7, that says if you want to know what it means to be resilient in the face of misfortune and change, here it is. I want to give you these 3 phrases that resilient people live by. Everybody say, I am resilient. Come on. I choose to be resilient. Resilience is not something that we default to. It's a choice that I have to make to allow the best to emerge from me. Because if I don't choose the best, the worst will choose for me. If I don't choose to allow the best to emerge from me, the worst will automatically emerge. It's because of sin nature, human nature, comfort nature, resistant to change nature, misfortune don't feel good nature. So by default, the worst will emerge. The worst attitude, the worst mentality, the worst acting out, the worst comments. And the choice to be resilient says, I will do the following despite the misfortune and change around me. What's the first thing? Fight the good fight. Paul said, I fought the good fight. That sometimes resilience is seen in resistance. That resilience has been seen in fighting the good fight, a fight for the good. We're in a sort of a stalemate right now, because there are people on both sides of the aisles that are in a fight and are holding their ground and will not compromise and will not buck. They're standing their ground on the defensive and on the offensive. When I look at people of color and people like Nat Turner, for example, Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, those that said, I'm not going to stay in it. I'm going to fight it. I'm going to fight. I'm not just going to sit and take it. I'm going to fight. And what does that fight look like? I'm not just talking about even I'm not talking about a physical fight. One of the things you did on Tuesday was a part of the fight. When you vote, come on. When you vote, you're fighting. When you choose to volunteer, bless you, Pastor Flanagan. When I choose to work in the kitchen and prepare a meal, to serve a meal, I'm fighting against hunger. So when we say fight, it's not just the putting up a fist or gun or shedding of blood, but it is intentionally counteracting a force of negativity that is adverse to my progression, the progression of my family, the progression of my people. And sometimes I've got to stand up by speaking up. I've got to stand up. Some are boycotting places like Target and others. That's a fight. It ain't a physical fight. All fights are not physical. And this is why Paul is clear. I have fought the good fight. The good fight says that I engage in a good that is even greater than my own, and I employ tactics that will support the good even as I'm fighting off the bad. So Paul said, I'm fighting. And I'm not just fighting outwardly, but I'm fighting inwardly. It's a fight to keep showing up. Do you not know? I can only imagine the fight that it was. You know, many people look at those that stayed on plantations through a lens where, you know, they just you know, they didn't have the strength to run. They wasn't fighting. No, I beg to differ. I mean, the fight to keep showing up, the fight to keep waking up, the fight to be productive despite being beaten down. That's a resistance of a sort. Everyone's fight won't look the same. The way you fight and the way that I am called to fight may not be the same. But Paul said, I have fought the good fight. However you fight, make sure you're on the right side of the fight and that you fight the right way. And I know there are people that say, well, Jesus already won the battle. But there's some things. He won the war. And yet there are battles that we are engaged in, spiritual warfare. There's a war in my mind every day. There's a war in my heart every day. Man, I'm way over time, but y'all just give me 5 more minutes. He said, resilience looks like fighting the good fight. Resilience looks like finishing the race. Finishing the race. Finishing the race. That I gotta keep running. That sometimes the only way out of the misfortune and through the change is to keep pushing through. Are y'all hearing me? And so some of resilience isn't just one thing. Practices of resilience vary. So Paul says, one of the ways that I was resilient was that I knew how and when to fight. And then there are some moments of my life where I've just got to finish the course. I got to let it play out and I got to keep driving. Man and his grandson, they were they were on a road trip. And when the storm came, the storm got so bad. Y'all have heard me tell this story that other cars pulled over. The granddad kept driving. And the grandson said, well, why don't we pull over like them? And they kept driving. Granddad ain't say nothing. He just kept driving. And eventually they got to a point where the storm stopped. There was no more rain, or shall I say. He pulls over. And the grandson said, why are we pulling over now? If we were going to pull over, we would pulled over back. He said, let me show you something. He said, look back there. He said, it hadn't stopped raining. It's still raining. And those cars that pulled over, they're still in that storm. but I had to keep driving, and because I kept driving, I made it through the storm. So there are some of us that our resilience will look like finishing the course. Just, hey, I'm gonna keep driving through it. I can't buck it. I can't fight it. But I'm gonna persevere. I'm gonna push through. That the answer isn't always divorce. That the answer isn't always leaving the job. Come on. Maybe the answer is to push through, ride it out. You know what? I'm going to outlast you. You trying to push me off this job, I'm going to outlive and outlast you. You going to leave before I leave. I'm going to push through. I'm going to push through with a positive mindset. So for some people, it is fighting a fight. It is finishing a course. We are at November, and you think that the year is finished. God ain't through with this year. Everybody say, God ain't through with my year. God is not through. We can't give up on 2025. Some of you already saying, well, I'm going to try again in 2026. No, try again in 25. I have made year 32 the year to finish things that I've started. I remember Nisha looked at me. She said, there's some things that you start. I want to see you finish some things that you started. And that resonated so much. I've adopted that as my year 32, that in this year of 32, I'm going to finish something. What are some things that you have started that you have not finished? Have you already given up on this year? And we just at November the 7th? God ain't through. God is not through with your year. God's not through with your career. God is not through with your church. God's not through with your family. So he said, I fought the fight. I finished the course. And here's the last thing. I have kept the faith. Do y'all see this? I have kept the faith. I close with this. I've kept the faith. Now, I think all of us in whether we are fighting or finishing must root and ground ourselves with faith. I think that more than being a practice of resilience, that faith is the root of resilience. That it is an innate faith that some people have said, how did they make it? It couldn't have been me. You're right. You're right. When you hear people, see, there's some people that look at you and they say, well, you finishing the course, but you know what? I would have fought the fight. And you looking at people that's fighting the fight, and you just say, well, I would have just rolled it out. Well, I don't know your measure of faith. I don't know the rooting of your faith. But what I can say is that faith is required to get us through it all. And there have been some, if you have watched my resilience, if you've watched my journey, you've seen me fight. Now I know how to fight. And then there have been moments where the Lord has taught me to stick it out. For I was riding through. Man, there's been some stuff we've had. We rolled through it. And it will look different. So when you choose resilience, you have to also discern how I will be resilient in this season and in this situation. And what I'm telling somebody today, you are faced with misfortune, and you're faced with something that's changing and shifting in your life. You got to be rooted in faith, and you got to know when to fight and when to finish. Because verse number 8 says, there's a crown waiting on you. And this crown is a victory crown. Now, victory is already mine, but I've got to engage in the process. And in that process, Paul says, I have fought. I was on the wrong side of the fight. I was fighting those that were of the way, but I got on the right side of the fight. And then he said, I have finished my course. Sometimes I was shipwrecked and I had to make it on broken pieces. I was bitten by a snake and folk thought I was going to die, but I had to shake it off. And there's some things that you've been making it on broken pieces, but you determined to finish. He said, I got to make it to Rome. In shackles, still writing. Death inevitable, but still encouraging and trying to help. That's what you call keeping the faith. You got to be rooted in faith as you choose resilience. And whatever it looks like for you, I'm praying that you would have the grace to embrace this season. Fight it out. Finish the course. Keep the faith, because a crown is waiting on you. There's a testimony on the other side of this. I don't feel no ways tired. That's what I close with. Come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy. I don't believe he brought us this far to leave us. We're pushing through government shutdown. We're pushing through depression and discouragement. We're pushing through the grief of this season. We're pushing through ever-changing times. And yet my faith in an unchanging God says that time is filled with swift transition, but I'm going to build my hopes on things eternal and hold to God's unchanging hand. He ain't bring you this far to leave you. I have to tell myself that all the time. It's rough for all of us in so many different ways. Oh, but I'm telling you, it won't always be like this. But choose resilience. Father, I thank you for this word today. And Lord, I've gone way over my time, but I thank you for every minute, every second to encourage your people to choose resilience. Thank you for the example of Paul. Thank you that history is replete with narratives of our people who have chosen resilience in the face of change and misfortune. We don't get to change what has happened to us. We do get to govern how we respond. And Father, help us to choose resilience today. Thank you that you hadn't brought us this far to leave us, and that you've given us everything that we need to press our way through, because we believe there's a blessing in the pressing. Help us to discern whether to fight or whether it's just to go through and make it to the finish, and help us all to embrace an unwavering faith. We believe God. Somebody declared, I believe God. I believe God. And I don't just believe God, but I believe in the power, God, that you put in me. Sometimes it's not, God, that I don't believe in you. Sometimes it's that I don't believe in the power that you put in me, the strength that you put in me. I thank you that I'm strong enough to withstand and to make it against all odds. So I give you praise, honor, and glory in Jesus' name. And all of God's people said, amen. All right. Again, I'm praying for all of our sick, shut in, and bereaved. I see some other prayer requests have come in. Sister Zivia, I was talking about Sister Vivian McClenny. Happy birthday to you, Sister Vivian McClenny. And to all that are celebrating birthdays, I think I saw another birthday that's going to be on Sunday. Now, listen, Central, I want you to be in church on Sunday. Pastor is traveling this weekend, but there's going to be a mighty word that's going to come forth. You know, I don't hold back when I'm out. I don't hold back when I'm out. I believe in transparency. Now, some pastors think I'm utterly crazy for this, but I want to see your face I want you to be in prayer, and then pray for Pastor and Lady Nisha and Baby Rain as we travel. How many of you been blessed by this word on today? I want to challenge everybody to sow your seed of resilience. Yep, 47. As close as you can get to 47. As we step into agreement with 2 Timothy 4:7. Everybody that can and will. You say, Pastor, this was my word today. Yep, I needed this. Come on, how many of you say, I needed this word today? Come on. I want to challenge you to sow your seed of resilience today. We're going to do it via Cash App, $Ignite CDM, IGNITE CDM. I'm way over time, but I want you to come in agreement that this is the word that you needed. You needed a little extra time to hear this word so that resilience can be stirred on the inside. How do I know that? You're going to put some in the comments, but even more, you're going to put some in the cash. 47, or as close as you can get to it. I know it's hard for us in different ways, but however you can sow via Cash App, $Ignite CDM. Now listen, even if you can't do nothing, you got your word today. I pray you were blessed. I pray that you were touched and that your life will never be the same after having heard this word today. All right. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you is my prayer. We're going to have an awesome weekend in the word. I pray you already got your word for today, and that you will pray with and for Pastor as I pray with and for you. I want to see my resilient people today. I'm calling on all the resilient flame igniters. $Ignite CDM, IGNITE CDM. 47 or as close as you can get to it. God bless you and keep you. I love you. Nothing you can do about it. Be blessed.
I have discovered evil wants to overtake me. I'm encouraged to keep His light shining in me. No longer bound beneath the load of guilt and shame. And if you're in darkness, He can bring a change.
Ignite your flame. Don't be ashamed.
Don't be ashamed.
Lift your voice, stand and proclaim.
Lift your voice.
Prove what God can do.
Show
others He lives in you.
lives in you.
Oh,
ignite your flame. This is what He wants you to do. Oh, ignite.
Ignite your flame.
I believe you can do it. Listen, I know it may seem hard right now, but I discovered that evil wants to overtake me. But I'm encouraged. I've got to keep the light shining. No longer bound beneath the load. And if you're in darkness, I know He can make a change. Make a change. Don't be ashamed.
Lift up your voice.
Stand and proclaim. Be living proof
What God can do.
what God can do.
Others He lives in you.
Ignite. He wants to use you. He can give you a brand new start.
Ignite your flame.
It's never too late riches in heaven reach beyond your situation